Hey, it's Chelsea,
And I'm Scott.
and we are the
Gallivanting Gamers, at
yes
least today. So, today we are going to be starting the first in a series of ours, comparing video games
versus.
versus different elements from one game to another. Um, who inspired who borrowed from who, and was that a good decision or not? And today
Who
I'm
made who?
and today I'm starting with an easy one, and probably the most obvious one. We are going to be comparing Castlevania versus Ninja Gaiden.
Ninja
Or
Gaiden.
Gaiden. So, for a little bit of context, this is for anyone who might be curious. Castlevania was released on the NES in 1986, and Ninja Gaiden was released in 1988. So, just pointing it out there, Castlevania came first. Take that as you will. But no, but no, both games are freaking phenomenal. They're amazing games. They are our favorite 6 games on the NES. Ninja Gaiden 1 through 3, Castlevania 1 through 3. Those games are phenomenal.
Two solid trilogies.
They're amazing. So a couple similarities to go over is the obvious one is the UI, or the user interface of how everything's displayed.
Yeah, to the point where when you pointed that out to me, I was like, is that not standard for NES games?
No. You might interpret it as one of the first examples of borrowing an engine or emulating an engine. Like today, we see games that are similar a lot more than back then. But back then, yeah. So when if you look at Castlevania and if you look at Ninja Gaiden, essentially they're the same game. Mechanically, they're the same game. Both games have 6 levels that are broken up into 2 or 3 parts. Both games, level 1 is only one solid flow. Both games have a final boss with multiple forms. Both games have a very similar, near identical user interface. So both games will have that little square in the middle that indicates when you get a sub-weapon and what sub-weapon that is.
Whether it's holy water or a ninja
It
star.
could, yeah, exactly. Castlevania has the Holy Water Ninja Star. No, excuse me, Holy Water. No, Ninja Stars are for Belmont there. No, Castlevania has Holy Water, Knife, Axe, Clock, and in Ninja Gaiden you have you have the Shuriken, you have the Windmill Shuriken, you have Fire Wheel, you have Jump and Slash, different abilities, but they function the same. Castlevania quantifies the ammunition and hearts, and Ninja Gaiden is referred to as spiritual strength.
And in both of them, you have the player life meter and the enemy.
The only major difference is on the left side of the Castlevania bar. You'll see player and enemy both have 16 block point hit bars. So both the player and the enemy have 16 hit points in the form of blocks. It's on the right side of Ninja Gaiden, and instead of saying player and enemy, it says ninja and enemy. Both games also feature a timer and a point system. And both games have points rapidly calculate at the end of a level you beat. So when the Belmont collects the orb, and it counts down whether it counts down the hearts and the time you have left, and then again it counts down to spiritual strength and your life and how much time you have left. It's functionally the same game. Now here are some of the ways of where the games get different, and what, even though we're kind of ragging on Ninja Gaiden a little bit by borrowing a lot from Castlevania, what it adds.
It's not really ragging though.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's.
We ain't mad.
I ain't mad. Both games are great, but what it adds completely overwhelms anything like that. For one point is the cutscenes. The integration of the new plot and the cutscenes, and that we spoke about that in our Ninja Gaiden video, which you can check out right over there somewhere. The integration of the cutscenes completely makes it a new experience. Just that one thing makes the game so different. Also, the characters functionally operate differently. The Belmont moves a lot more blocky, a lot more stalwart, just like really chunky moving with his whip and everything. Of course, the ninja, Ryu, moves more gracefully, and he's jumping off walls. He has a shorter time to jump
And
with with less of an arc. Well, no, I mean, it has the same arc, but with less of a time before the jump is complete. And he can climb on walls, so the characters feel vastly different. It's like, you know, you're controlling.
But it plays into the characters that they are.
So if you're controlling someone that's basically Hercules with these big muscles, he's going to be blocky and he's not going to be graceful. He's going to be all about strength. If you're playing a stealthy ninja that's just flying through everything, trying to not get caught, it makes sense, you know. So later in Castlevania 3, you could. I'm not saying this is how it went down, but the fact that Ryu can climb walls, I felt like was kind of in Castlevania 3. Now Grant can climb walls. There's a similarity there. And another difference between Castlevania is you upgrade your whip with Simon or Trevor Belmont. So here your whip, you'll get an item that looks like a little whip. You pick it up, and it'll be a chain whip, and then it'll be a longer whip, right? That's something that wasn't a feature in Ninja Gaiden, but in Ninja Gaiden 3, you do get a longer, more powerful sword. You only get one upgrade, not two upgrades, but it's kind of the same thing. So
he'll get upset if you don't collect these upgrades.
So both of the games play off of each other a little bit, it seems. Both games feature a very gothic and adult aesthetic, and
they get pretty eerie.
Yeah. Obviously, Castlevania 1's known for basically being a blender box of Hammer horror films, you know, and Universal horror films. You have Medusa, who's not really a horror villain, but that's an interesting, you know, element to pull off there. It has the Frankenstein monster. You have mummies, and of course Dracula, who's like a horror villain of them all, and the Grim Reaper, right? And in Ninja Gaiden, it's a little bit more nuanced. It's more.
There are demons.
They're demons. It's wrapped in within the mythology of Ninja Gaiden, but yeah. So you know, you have different types of demons and different types of grotesque creatures related to that. So
there's dragons in the Ninja Gaiden universe.
Exactly, and both of them, you know, take place. Both of them take place in these relative castle-like structures that have organs and body parts and stuff just like construed around.
That crumble at the end of the game.
Both games feature each a castle crumbling at the end.
And you being the hero watching it like, yep, I did that.
Exactly. So the only sort of X factor here is Castlevania 2 is vastly different than the first 1 and 3. So of course that doesn't quite count, while Ninja Gaiden 3 remains relatively consistent. And both games feature some sort of legendary weapon. It's in Simon Belmont, Trevor Belmont, they've been passing down this Morning Star Vampire Killer whip, it's called. And it's been holy, it's been blessed. Later mythology was built around that whip, and it's family heirlooms, yada yada. And in Ninja Gaiden, it is the Fang of the Dragon. It's called the Dragon Sword. It was carved out of the Fang of the Dragon that slew the demon way back in the day. So both of them got that going for it. Both games feature amazing music. Some of the best you'll hear on the old Nintendo.
So good.
The music in Castlevania 1, 2, and 3, all three of them have amazing music.
So much hype.
So much hype. Same thing with the third one. The third one gets your heart, same thing with Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden gets your heart pounding.
Like if the game alone didn't get you like heart palpitating, you go with that music will.
We've already talked about how the bosses are kind of similar, but even the regular enemies are really similar. They're similar types, even if they're different. The Medusa heads are a lot like how the bats move. Both games feature like turret-like enemies. It's the two skeleton heads in Castlevania. It's the little soldier, or sometimes a plant, or some weird mix of that in the Ninja Gaidens. But they basically, they both have enemies that'll shoot 3 bullets at you at a time, or things that fly in a waving pattern. Enemies that patrol back and forth slowly.
I think they both have knockback.
They both have knockback, and pits are issue in both.
If you play on the Retron 5 with invincibility, that's not a problem anymore.
Absolutely. One difference in command is that the characters in Castlevania do have a separate function to walk up and down stairs. That's something that's not present in Ninja Gaiden. You could consider that was swapped out for the ability to climb walls.
Yeah, you just acrobat all over the place.
Yeah.
Which takes some getting used to.
So in conclusion, and this might be a hot take, maybe it's not, but you know, one thing I want to say is in this video you see the similarities between Ninja Gaiden and Castlevania. If you fast forward a couple decades, all of a sudden there's similarities between the newer Ninja Gaiden and Devil May Cry, which will be in a later video. So, you know, maybe it's not like this, but it kind of seems like Team Ninja Gaiden always, you know, kind of wants to, you know, look to the popular Gothic game around at the time for inspiration.
Ooh, we've got a conspiracy theory going now.
Just the thought. We will see. We will follow up with that thought in our next video regarding Devil May Cry and Ninja Gaiden.
It might not be the next one, but one of these.
Yeah, in some later video.
I'm not keeping track.
Yeah, me neither. So,
we're chilling.
Yeah, we chilling, we vibing. So, is there any specific anything you want to add? I went on quite a bit tangent here.
I love this guy. No, man, they both have awesome music, lots of badassery, castles crumbling, demons. I think we pretty much covered it.
Alright.
They are 6 of the most solidest games of all time, and if you haven't played them, that's just sad. I pity the fool who has not played these games.
And I will say, even though these games are real similar, you see elements that did exist beforehand that became mainstays from other games. I do want to point towards something like Ghosts and Goblins, which it wasn't necessarily sub-weapons. His main weapons was in a square on the top that would be interchanged. He would pick them up like sub-weapons, it just happened to be his main weapon. And it's not like the idea of hit point bars are new. It's just the way that it's displayed out, I find real similar between the two games. So, yeah.
I mean, honestly, I just love these games.
We love these games. Tell me your thoughts. What do you think in the comments? Do you think Ninja Gaiden ripped off Castlevania? Or do you think the other way around somehow? You think I'm reading way too deep into it? Whatever there is, let me know in the comments, and whip that like button and the subscribe and the bell and all that stuff. Alright. Other than that, we will see you in the next video.